Still on UNCTAD, this year's conference gathered over 300 youth from across the world to include their voice in job creation, education and governance. Take a look. According to a report by the UN on population, there are 1.2 billion youth of ages between 15 and 24 years. In this regard, the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, UNCTAD, held a special forum for the youth to discuss the opportunities of future engagement with the UN.
The United Nations Conference on Trade and Development means first, we've been given an opportunity to present our ideas as young people, and at the same time we've been given an opportunity to at least do meaningful engagement with the UN processes, which we've rarely seen or which we barely see in previous platforms.
The UNCTAD Youth Forum is about bringing youth from all over the world, from the 194 states, to bring their minds together and help them to have a platform for discussion. So this is a forum that is going to help the youth to think about themselves and see the changes they want to see in future and see how they can participate in making these changes actually come to happen.
Top of the agenda for the Youth Forum was to find solutions to perennial unemployment, especially in Africa. The International Labour Organization rates global unemployment at 13%, largely attributed to mismatch of skills at academia.
And if we give the young people the skills to serve in those industries and to own those businesses, guess what? We start helping them create their own wealth and their own jobs. As a matter of fact, therefore, that is where we are saying that in the program that we have designed to Jiajiri, we have already started with 2,175 of the young people. We intend to do 10,000 every year.
When it comes to issues of job markets, we see in Kenya a lot of things are being done for the youth. We have the youth empowerment scheme. The same applies to Uganda. We have the youth empowerment schemes. And here we are putting youth together, equip them with basic skills, help them to raise some capital and help them to make jobs for themselves, issues of job creation, not going outside there thinking that after they have got their degrees they'll go and look for jobs. But here we have to now look at how can the youth actually be job creators and employ their own fellow youth.
In spite of the steps made in reducing illiteracy in Kenya, adult literacy levels stand at 61.5% according to the National Adult Literacy Survey of 2007. Youth delegates at the UNCTAD meeting therefore believe that access to better education will open up the larger Kenyan population to global networks.
The world is now a global village, and we can easily connect as young people, and the biggest advantage we have is we are not selfish. I mean, we are ready to share information, we are ready to embrace knowledge and skills transfer. And for me, I see a big opportunity for youths around the world, because we are not just looking at what benefits me, but what benefits the larger global community. And the goodwill is there.
Since the adoption of Kenya's 2010 constitution, the youth have had more engagement in doing business with the government. For instance, the current law sets aside 30% of public procurement for youth and women. However, much remains to be done in youth involvement in policy making.
So this is the time for youth to utilize, for example, such conferences to build networks. When they have an issue, it is good to discuss informally with their members of parliament, for example, here, so that when they go back, they're able to refer to a discussion they had here. It becomes easier for them to go back and say, you know, when I attended such a conference, I met this kind of youth and this is what they were discussing. So it's good to utilize such forums and have a platform to be able to network with other people who are already in the field in terms of practice. In terms of education, we have also papers to be presented in such conferences. It would be nice if a youth comes up with a paper and actually presents the status of the youth in Uganda, the status of the youth in Kenya, the status of the youth in the world, what are the challenges they face as youth. So with such opportunities, then they're able to bring their issues actually on the table.
Our call to the government is when they go back home after the UNCTAD outcome, they need to look at creating enabling structures that will ensure that these young people, especially the ones who attended the UNCTAD Youth Forum, are at least incorporated in the government decision-making processes. Because if you can be able to craft a policy, then chances are high that you will be able to provide very brilliant ideas when it comes to implementation.